Okay, so thank you for hopping on this evening with me to learn about our Duds to Dazzle event this year. This is our second annual Duds to Dazzle event, and I'm really excited that we're going to have another. I think it was a great activity for us all last year, so I can't wait to see what this year brings. There's going to be a couple changes, so we'll get to those, but I'm just going to start from the beginning and run through what the event looks like from beginning to end, so that way we have a nice refresher for those of us that are aware of how the event works, and then everybody who's new to it can kind of understand how it works too. Okay, so today I'm going to cover what is Duds to Dazzle, how the contest works, what are the categories that we talk about and reference, and what are the rules of play, and what you need to compete, which is referenced as the kit. So what is Duds to Dazzle? Duds to Dazzle is a contest where teams of 4-H youth are given a textile to repurpose using only the items in their sewing kits and craft closet. And of course, they're going to use their knowledge and skills learned while they've been participating in 4-H clothing and textile projects over the years. So you can see in these two photos below, it looks like participants were given a pair of jeans and turned it into possibly a dress over there on the right in that picture. So they turned it into a whole new piece of clothing. So the contest objectives. When we started this event here last year, we were really excited because we were the first place to take it away from where it first started, which was in Texas 2 years ago. So as far as I know, no one else in New York is doing it yet. Now that this is going to be our second year and we've changed a few things and I think done a better job at realizing how it works for New York, I'm excited to share it with the state program. So I plan to do that this fall. So hopefully we could have other counties participating in Duds to Dazzle now that we have kind of a good grasp on how it works here in Erie. So our objectives are to allow participants to exhibit knowledge and skills gained through their 4-H clothing and textile project by designing, constructing, and presenting a finished product. We have the objective to let our participants learn, and that is just what 4-H is all about, learning by doing, hands-on opportunities. We are about promoting teamwork, helping 4-Hers gain experience in public speaking. I'll talk about how public speaking is built into this event and provides leadership opportunities for our 4-H members. And there's a lot of great ways to strategize how you use your skills and what leadership positions you can take in this event. So I think it's a really neat event to use all sorts of different skills. And I think it's just a great way to bring all different types of 4-Hers together too. So contest rules. For here in Erie County, we require that you are enrolled in the Erie County 4-H Youth Development Program. We have 2 age divisions. We have our Clover Buds, which are 5, 6, and 7 as of January 1st. And then we have our 4-H members who are age 8 and up as of January 1st, so 8 to 18. For our teams, we require that there be a minimum of 3 members and a maximum of 5. Again, our Clover Buds will not be participating in the team type of event this year. They'll be doing their own creative project, so they'll be getting to work on a neat textile event all on their own. Okay, substitutions of team members. Substitutions are allowed in case of a team member becoming ill or a family emergency. Just please let me know as soon as possible because there's some logistic things that I have to take care of. We do not require an entry or registration fee at this time to participate. And then we have our 3 design categories. So we have wearable, jewelry accessory, and non-wearable. And the teams will be randomly assigned to a category, but assignments will not be announced until check-in at the day of the contest. So it's a secret of where you are and what you're going to be doing until you get there that day. Okay, so now I'm going to cover the 3 categories in a little more detail. And again, if anybody has any questions, you can type them in the chat box and I'll answer as we go through everything. So we're going to cover what wearable, non-wearable, and jewelry accessory mean when we're describing our categories. So wearable, this is considered clothing that is suitable to be worn by people or pets. So for example, a shirt, a coat, a vest, dress, costume, leggings, swimsuit, cover, etc. So an example of a project could be turning that old pair of ill-fitting jeans into a fantastic denim skirt. I love that flower embellishment on there. Or, for example, recycling a pair of jeans into a designer doggy fashion jacket. Non-wearable. So this is an item made from clothing that is not suited to be worn. So this could be a pillow, a towel, jewelry pouch, cell phone or iPad case, stuffed animal, doll clothes, Christmas ornament, etc. So example here would be recycling a pair of old jeans into Christmas stockings and embellishing it. So some pretty cool looking stockings. Jewelry and accessory is our last category, and this is described as an article or set of articles that can be added to an outfit in order to make it more useful, versatile, or attractive. For instance, you could make earrings, a scarf, headband, hat, belt, necklace, etc. So a couple examples here are creating a purse from an old pair of jeans with a decorative fabric applique and braided handle. Or recycling a leather label off of an old pair of jeans to make a cuff bracelet. Both great ideas. So our contest rules. Attire. Each team is encouraged, it's not required, but we encourage it if you want. It just adds a special bit of flair to your team. If you are wearing coordinating clothing, appropriate for construction, of course, and team presentation. Resource materials provided. We have some provided materials that will be on hand at the contest, and that is some 4-H published material that goes along with 4-H and textile projects. So we have Unraveling the Mystery of Design Elements and Principles in Clothing, Laundry on Your Own, Safety Guide, Hand Stitches, Pricing, and Simple Seaming Techniques. We ask that no other resources be allowed, and that teams may not use their personal copies of the resources, just so that way somebody didn't have some special notes or something that other teams then wouldn't have. And all of these topics for resources are going to help create not only stronger contest creations, but a presentation as well. So the sewing kit. This is what is required to come along with a team. Each team must supply their own equipment for the competition. Teams may bring only the supplies listed in the sewing kit inventory. Sewing kits will be checked off by contest officials as teams check in for the contest. Any extra equipment will be confiscated and the team may be disqualified. And we just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and has a fair start to the competition. That's the reason that we want everyone to have what each other does. So this is our sewing kit list. We added a couple things this year, and let's see. I have one question in the chat box, so let me get that answered before we list these guys. Is it not mandatory to bring everything on the kit? Yes. If you chose not to bring everything on the list, that is your own choice as a team. But this is the maximum that you can bring. If you choose to bring everything but the seam ripper, that's fine. It's just your own choice. So great question. So we have a sewing machine, minimum of 1, maximum of 3, sewing machine manual, presser feet, bobbins, sewing machine needles, cutting mat, rotary cutter, hot glue gun, iron, tabletop ironing board or towel, blow dryer, tacky glue, note cards, filled water bottle, paper towels, trash bag, manual pencil sharpener, pencils, a clear gridded ruler or cutting edge, power strip, extension cord, fabric marker, hand sewing needles, shears, straight pins and pin cushion, tape measure, seam ripper, thread, safety pins, and lamp. Lamp is something we added new this year because we felt that some areas of the environment that we are hosting a contest in are not exactly the most well lit. We are trying to strategize that the best to our ability. And we know that some sewing machines have lights, but we thought it was fair that we could allow teams to bring in a lamp for themselves if they want to. And again, this is the max that you can bring. You can bring less than this if your team chooses to, but this is what we allow. So our updates for this year. Okay. So last year we had taken a year off of our traditional textile review to try out this event and kind of put our energy and focus on that. We were so happy with our success and the outcome, and we realized that our traditional textile review is something that it's very highly liked and kids want to participate, and we wanted to make sure to offer that again if that was the case. And our feedback was that everybody wanted it back. So we are going to offer both this year. So textile review is going to happen in May, which means last year we had done our clothing evaluation portion with our sewing advisors at Dazzle. That will not be happening this year. It's going to move back to our traditional textile review. So our Dazzle day is going to be shorter than last year, which means there will be no lunch provided because we're going to end before lunchtime. So pizza will also move back to the textile review event. There are updated resources on the 4-H website for our Dazzle event, so please take the time to look. After the committee discussed and reviewed how our event went, we realized that we could use some guidance for our judges as well as participants on evaluation. So we went to our public presentation day rubrics because it is such a great tool that is simple and easy to understand, and redesign that to create a scorecard and rubric for Dazzle. So both of those things are on our website. I have a quick snapshot of them in this presentation, but that's definitely something you want to take a look at because those are going to be what essentially you need to prepare for. And if you want a high score on your competition, you need to take a look at what would get you that end goal. So definitely take a peek at those. Again, the supply kit, just review it and make sure your team is aware of what you want to bring or can bring with the updated lamp on there. Again, talking about our environment of where our event is, we're going to be at the 4-H office again this year in the big auditorium. With lighting in there different than it has been in the past a little bit. We are strategizing tables a particular way and making more room for the teams. So we limited the event to 12 teams. As far as I know, we did not fill 12 teams in registration. So I think everybody is in and signed up. I think we have about 10 teams. So still great, still about the same number as last year. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and what they come up with. And then if there is any open slots on the teams and an independent member wishes to participate, we just have that ability to kind of shift them onto a team, and we will let you know if they are moved onto your team. But that's the best way for us to incorporate everybody and have a nice, well-rounded event. So, okay. So our schedule for this year is slightly different than last year. We are looking at our judges and committee members arriving at 9 and doing a judges orientation. Teams will begin to check in at 9:30. We want them in and set up with orientation beginning at 9:45. 10 a.m. teams can open their assignments of their categories and begin the competition. We make the teams wait 15 minutes to strategize and discuss how they're going to play out their competition. So those first 15 minutes are kind of that planning stage. And then the supply closet will open and be there for teams to get their pieces that they would like to add to their creations. Clover buds will be coming in either with their siblings at the check-in time for teams, or they can arrive later at 10:15 a.m. Either works. Cloverbud project will begin at 10:30. So just be aware that they might have to hang out, and we'll get some entertainment for them if they're going to sit around while their older siblings are working on the competition. So our competition is only an hour long, so therefore 11 a.m. team designs must be complete. Cloverbuds will also be finished with their project. Presentations will then begin shortly after, and Cloverbuds will get to participate in that as well. Oh, and I noticed I didn't adjust this from last year. I'm sorry, that line about before lunch should just be out of there. So we're hoping to finish presentations close to noon and roll right into awards. So we're looking at a shorter event. Again, there's going to be no pizza lunch, no clothing evaluation. It's just going to be the competition and the award ceremony. So once competition is done, you're just going to pack up your supplies and awards will be handed out. And the schedule is pretty, flexible based on how the morning goes, but those are the chunks of time we're looking at. The minutes might flex a little bit based on how our morning gets off to a start. So our contest rules, awards will be determined by the committee and are based on sponsorships, so what we can offer. But most definitely ribbons and certificates will be presented. Each team is required to have an adult supervisor, and that person's job that day is to ensure that our youth are being safe when sewing and cutting and all of their textile and clothing techniques that they're doing when they're creating their items. And those adults will be accountable for keeping track of time for the team as well. And supply kit check, just a reminder that your supply kit will be checked at registration, so please have it ready, have it together, make sure you're communicating as a team prior to the day of on who has what, who's bringing what, all of that, so you guys are all prepared for the day of. So a little bit on how we play this fun game of Duds to Dazzle. So teams are going to report to the designated location for check-in, and we will have a short orientation that I will provide to all the participants. And then each team will be directed to a construction station that I'll have laid out in advance per team. And there will be a collection of materials at each station, but no pattern. The materials must be used to represent a constructed item from one of the following categories: wearable, accessory jewelry, or non-wearable. So what will happen is you're going to come in that day, check in, supply kit will be check-in. You're going to be sent to the auditorium where we have our station set up. On your table will be your mysterious category and piece of clothing to get started with. And you won't get to open that until you're allowed to, but you can set up your station and start getting prepared. There will be textile resources located in the room for you as well, so each team has access to those. And then you'll have 60 minutes to construct an item, plan your presentation, and clean up your construction area. That's all part of your scorecard, and that scorecard, again, in that rubric is going to take care of explaining those details on what the judges are looking for exactly. And only participants and contest officials are going to be allowed in construction area. So parents, family, friends can watch, but they're going to have to watch from a distance. So just want to give them that heads up. They can't be right next to you. Teams that experience any equipment malfunctions may not replace the equipment with supplies from another team, leaders or volunteers, county extension agent, or contest officials. Instead, team members must work together to be creative in completing construction without the malfunctioning equipment. So if your sewing machine goes crazy and you happen to bring the max that you could, you can change it out with what you already have. If you only brought one machine and it doesn't work, then you might need to find another way to get your fabric together. So you just want to think those things through and be cautious on what you're, stocking your supply kit with in case of an emergency. For construction, each team will be provided with a startup textile item. That's your mystery item that I will have in place for you. and it's going to be assigned per category, and you will create a garment or an item using them. Each team in the same category will receive the same startup item. So if there are 3 teams that are assigned to non-wearable, you will all start with the same thing. Maybe a Hawaiian shirt or a pair of jeans. It will all be that same startup piece. Teams are challenged with being creative and developing an original product with the materials provided. Creativity is definitely the highlight of this competition. So, don't hold back, and definitely maybe prepare a little bit and scope out some ideas on how you can repurpose textile items. Teams must incorporate each material into the product. So you are able to determine the exact amount of each material to use, but the final product has to have at least 50% or more of the initial items. So you don't have to take that, say you get, I'll use this example. Okay, if the category is accessory jewelry and the team is provided a cloth shower curtain as the original mystery item to be refurbished, you don't have to use 50% of that large shower curtain. It's just the purse that you make at the end has to be composed of 50% of the shower curtain. So whatever you make has to have 50% of what you started with. Teams will have access to the closet of additional materials, and I'll have a snapshot of what the closet can look like shortly. The number of additional materials the team gets will be determined by the contest officials and announced during orientation. So I will tell you that day how many items you are allowed, how much you must use or can use. The scratch paper, note cards, and Dazzle clothing and textile competition worksheet can all be used to prepare for construction of the item and the team's presentation. And we ask that no cell phones be in the competition area as you're working. So here's an example of a scenario. When you arrive to your table, there's going to be a bag, and it's going to have a mystery item and a scenario in it, so you know how you need to use that item properly. So, non-wearable. Angie completed spring cleaning in her home. Between all the members of her family, a trash bag of denim jeans that were no longer being worn was collected. Angie lives in the country and is not easily accessible to the public to hold a garage sale. Your team is to refurbish the old jeans into a non-wearable item. So you're going to get something along those lines where it tells you what you have and what you have to do with it, to the effect of what category it needs to fit into. About your presentation. So when time is called, each team will then begin presenting with a public presentation that is a presentation specifically on their item, and according to the criteria of the scorecard, to a panel of 2 judges. So a team can display the final product to the judges as they choose. You can model it, hold it, or place it on the table. All members must participate in the presentation, with at least 3 of them having a speaking role. And this is, again, just a focus on teamwork and leadership, as well as public speaking skills being strengthened. So we think it's really a great opportunity to work on all those things. Judging time per team, 5 minutes for the presentation is what we allocate, 3 minutes for judging questions, and 4 minutes approximately between presentations, so judges have time to do all of their notes and comments and scoring. Teams are allowed to use note cards during the presentation, but should not read from them, as it minimizes the effectiveness of their communication. So they're allowed, but we love to see that you don't just stare at them, but have great eye contact and make sure you're projecting your presentation the best of your ability. So still continuing on presentation, judges may ask teams questions that are not directly related to a particular item constructed during the contest. Instead, some questions may address the general knowledge gained through 4-H members' clothing and textile project learning experiences. Let's see. No talking or writing is allowed among any team members while waiting to give a team presentation. And this is because we just want to make sure that you're prepared and ready to go. rather than hearing something from another team and then trying to change yours in the last minute, because we just want you to present what you created because we think it's going to be wonderful and see your personality come through. Okay. Cleanup. So cleanup is part of your 60 minutes that you're given to construct your item, and it's part of scoring as well. So make sure that you're cleaning up as you're going. That's a great way to stay on top of everything. So placing. So all the scoring will be done based on the judges, and judges' results are final. And our award program will be held at the end of judging as soon as we get everything tabulated. So a quick picture of what the sewing closet can look like. This is just a few things. There are markers and tape and hammers and buttons and all sorts of embellishments. As you can see, we have quite the collection for the sewing closet here in Erie County. So much stuff that I don't know what to do with, which is a great problem. So you're going to walk in to see a variety of awesome, cool stuff that you're going to get to work with. So I think really that's the fun part, is when you get to go see what's in that closet and what you can play with. So this is a picture of the newly redone scorecard that is specific to Erie County. Again, this is on the 4-H website, so I recommend that you take a peek at this. It's broken down differently than last year, and we really think that it's going to help all of us do a better job of evaluating. So please take a look at that. And this is a quick snapshot of one of the pages of the rubric that the committee designed. So, you know, these are brand new. We just made them. We've revised them and think that they're 100% okay, but we might find some flaws, being that it's the first time we're going to use them. So definitely let us know if you see things that are an issue. But please take a look at this rubric as well. A team worksheet will be provided for you. That is kind of to help you outline your presentation and project. So that will be there the day of. This YouTube video is from Texas a couple years ago, and it is their version of kind of an introduction to the event. So I recommend, if you want more details or examples, or just to hear this coming from someone else, to take a peek at that. This is their YouTube video from Texas on the supply closet. And this is their video about presentation prep. So again, let's just review online registration. Everybody should have been done and registered by now. If you think your team members forgot, or there's people out there that didn't, please have them get a hold of me as soon as possible so we can get them in there. At this point, I still have room, so I can probably get them in. Excuse me. And you were to register as an individual. So thank you all for doing that. And let's see, Erie County Fair. So last year we changed Erie County Fair fashion show and added a change into the fair book. So there is a spot where our teams can enter their creations and be recognized for competing in the event and earn a premium, as well as the teams can model and share their creation in our fashion show. And you know, this is a great thing that I did not think about. Last year we had done the drawing for the sewing machine on stage at fashion show, and I'm not sure if we're going to do it again this year there, or if we'll move back to textile review. My committee has not decided that. So if you have any thoughts or input on that, feel free to give me a holler and let me know where you would like to see it be done, because I'd be happy to share that with the judges. So does anybody have any questions? If you have questions, I can unmute you. Let's see here. I'll unmute. So if you guys want to talk, you can talk, or type in the chat box. Are there any questions that I can answer for you? Let's see, we have a question. Are the judges going to look over each team's finished item? Yes, Lauren, they are. They are going to review that. And the part of the completion is something that's going to be stressed on the scorecard this year, whereas last year it was not so much. So items need to be finished in order to earn the highest score. Is there any other questions?
Yes, Tessa. Are the supervisors, are we going to like know them ahead of time? Because I know last year the supervisors that were entered with your team then went to different teams. Is it going to be the same this year?
Yes, and that is purposely done so that we have just kind of a mix-up on letting adults work with different youth. If there's some major concern of why that should not happen, please let me know. But the committee felt that was a great way to kind of break up anybody that maybe has adults that try to help too much, or maybe would ask their parents for help, kind of. So by switching people up, we thought that it would kind of prevent that from happening.
Okay.
Okay.
And the YouTube videos from the Texas Studs to Dazzle, like what would I type into YouTube to see those?
If you copy and paste those, I have this presentation is posted on the 4-H website right now. It's just have this live recording with it. So if you hop on there, you should be able to open the hyperlink from there. So you can copy and paste it, or you can try to open it directly out of it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and I have another question from Miss Lauren. What project are the Cloverbuds doing this year? I'm not sure yet, Lauren. It's not going to be a t-shirt. It's going to be another piece of some sort of textile. I don't know, maybe an apron or like a little bag, something they can paint, decorate, embellish, all the same kind of stuff. Just not a shirt since they did that last year. Okay. Are there any other questions? All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.